Okay, so for my goal in this video, you guys, is literally one thing, and that is just to find my missing wheel speed sensor for the Evo, because I cannot find it anywhere. And we're gonna do that by installing all the other parts that I have. So, as you guys saw in the last video, we brought the Evo back from the shop. We went ahead, we got some of the wire harnesses installed, we got the oil cooler installed, and a couple smaller things. So, we have gauge wires to run. We've got so much to do with this thing to get it roadworthy that it's going to take some time. So, I want to knock out a lot of the parts that I have sitting on that back rack back there. The first one that we're going to start with today is the JDM bumper. We have some brackets we need to rivet on there. We have a rear crash beam that we need to swap off, swap this new STM tuned one on, and just a whole bunch of stuff. We might tackle the gauges today. We'll see how I'm feeling with wiring, but get after it, as they would say. Matt, what are you torquing down? Torquing down an AN fitting? This man bougie. You don't believe your free Harbor Freight inch-pound torque wrench?
150 inch-pounds.
How much did you get that thing for?
This?
Yeah.
For free.
And you trust it?
I don't know. But I'm like, you know what? If they have a torque spec,
why don't you just use the foot-pound torque wrench right there?
that starts at 20.
Just go to 20.
It says start at the lowest value, and if it leaks, tighten it.
20 is good enough.
My thing is, I didn't even get a out of that.
This one?
And that felt real tight.
Oh. Let's jump on this bumper. The big reason that we gotta swap the rear crash bar is all these license plate lights and whatnot just kind of like hang out of the way. So I don't think I ever bolted this guy back down. I'm pretty sure it's just like clipped in, so I should just be able to pop it off. Did I zip tie it on? What did I do? There we go. Oh, I don't even have a crash bar on here. That's fun.
We don't.
So, guess who now has a rear crash bar? Is this not left? Does this go on the bottom? I think this goes on the bottom. Pretty sure it goes on the bottom.
Take off the, I've got a bunch of
That's good enough. I'm gonna clean this part off, you guys, and I'm just gonna hit this thing with another coat of paint. I got all the rust off of it, so I'd like to just give it a quick paint job. Mainly to keep the rust from coming back. So let me clean this thing and we'll get a coat of paint on it. While we're over here and while I kind of have stuff disconnected, we're gonna go ahead and swap out the idler pulley. I've got the paint chilling on that piece that we just did, and that's a freaking 14, not even a 12. So I'd like to get the whole drive belt on because it's, well, it hasn't been on, so. Still needed the friggin' 12. Old idler broken pulley is off. New OEM Mitsubishi one can go on now. 14 should go in somewhere over here. Now raises the question of how the f do I get this belt on here? I think I have to take this motor mount out to get this accessory belt on. They really don't leave you a lot of room here now, do they? Let me Google how to do this, you guys, because I don't know how to put this belt on. Like, there's no room. Alright, you guys, now I get to explain to you why it took me an hour to put on a drive belt, an accessory belt on an Evo. First of all, let me say, this is my first time really working on an inline engine. Secondly, so the auto tensioner for the Evo, it's one of these guys, and it's got like that broken, this one's the old one. It's got that 1/2 inch guy so you can relieve tension on it to put the belt on. Well, my dumbass put the alternator on the wrong side of the bracket so it wasn't sitting square with all the other drive belts. So every time I went to take tension off the auto tensioner, I couldn't pull it all the way because it was hitting the alternator. So Matt and I were sitting here for probably on and off about a good hour, until Matt looks down and he's like, dude, your alternator's not lined up with everything else. I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, dude, I think it's supposed to go behind this bracket. It's supposed to go behind the bracket. As soon as we fixed that, the auto tensioner worked perfectly and we're able to get it all on. So the drive belt is on. It's an hour of my life I'll never get back, but I have gained the knowledge of where the alternator goes on a 4G63 now. But we have the drive belt on, and to show you guys what I was talking about, it's that part of the bracket right there. I had the alternator on the front side of that bracket. Don't ask me why, but for some reason I did. So, you know, it's fixed now. Our drive belt's on. We got really good tension on that thing. It's on the water pump. It's on everything. I have AC deleted on this car, so I had to get an Evo RS belt. But honestly, it fits literally perfect. So, sick. Now that that's done, what do I want to do next? O2 sensor can go in. I'll probably give it one more good little twist right here. Boop. Alright, there we go. O2 sensor's in, so I'm pretty sure that the O2 sensor connects somewhere back here. Is this the right size? Wow, somehow I grabbed the right size. Now, let me say this, you guys. Like, I enjoy working on new, fun, exciting projects and whatnot like this. But don't get me wrong, I also don't understand where half the shit goes. So, a lot of this is like a learning experience for me, because like I said, I don't know where a lot of this shit goes. Is there another O2 sensor location that I'm just like crazy? I feel like it goes up and under the valve cover with these other wires. I could be wrong. I could be so freaking wrong. You know, something about that just doesn't quite seem right. You know, it's probably because this shouldn't be going where it's going right now. That makes a hell of a lot more sense. What the fuck is happening here now, though? Okay, so hold up. Hold up. It does go like that. I mean, that seems to work. So I'm just gonna assume that it goes like that, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Man, I'm gonna go to start this thing up for the first time. It's gonna blow up. Alright, well, we got an O2 sensor in there. I'm assuming that's right. Like I said, I can't confirm, but I feel like that's right. Alright guys, it's the next morning. I got kind of caught up last night knocking stuff out after my camera died, so let me give you a quick update of what all we got done last night, because we got some pretty good stuff done, and then kind of what we're going to be doing today. So our radiator is in permanently. I got our coolant temperature sensor put in here for our AEM gauge. We have our heat shield on here for the turbo. The external wastegate and everything like that is all put on there permanently now. We have our O2 sensor on there. Our lower radiator hose is permanently on. Now I'm at the point where I want to start knocking out some like the little random miscellaneous stuff. So on this car, we're not running a MAF sensor. We're just running speed density car. So that means we need to tap into this plug here and remove the, well, we're not even gonna be using this anymore. So I'm probably just gonna trim this back to where it's not needed, and then we're going to make an extension harness that goes from here that goes up to our IAT sensor right down there, so that way the car is going to read off of IAT and it's going to read off of the MAP sensor. So by doing so, that's just going to clean up our wiring a little bit more. We're only using the blue and red and the black wire out of this connector, so I'll probably just cut it like back here and then make an extension harness that goes back there to our IAT sensor. So let's start knocking it. Oh, and I can get the boost controller wire plugged in, everything like that. I might relocate the boost controller so that way it's just kind of like up and out of the way, maybe up here on the shock tower or something. I don't know, I'll figure it out, but let's get to work. We got a lot to do to get this car running, and this is some of the smaller, tedious stuff. Alright guys, I've got the IAT sensor wired up now. I've become very anal with my wiring at this point, so I trimmed back everything we weren't using, tucked it inside of the harness, so if I ever did need to put the MAF sensor back on there, I can. But I have a sheath going up here, going up there. Now, I went to the extent of taking the time to tear apart another harness to be able to find the exact wires that came off of the MAF and went to the IAT sensor. So that way everything is still color matching, so that way I know where it all goes. It just makes life a lot easier. So now that that's done, the next thing I need to do, since I'm already doing wiring, is I need to rewire the injector clips for the ID injectors, because they actually don't make plug and play harnesses, which is a little bit annoying. It's not the end of the world, I guess, but I don't like pinning these after what happened on the STI, so I'm gonna take my time going through here doing all of these to make sure that everything is nice, spick and span as we go through here and do all these wires and make sure that everything is crimped properly and that we don't have any pins that are going to depin themselves, because that is the last thing that I want with this setup. So I'm gonna probably spend the next hour and a half making sure that all 4 of these are absolutely perfect. So let me get going on this. The poopy part's kind of done here. All the injectors are wired up. Now, I am very scarred by what happened in the Subaru, so I took some extra steps here because, like I said, they don't make plug-and-play adapters that I found, at least. For this, they could. I just may not have seen them. So with these, when I hardwired on the EV1, I believe they're EV1 connectors, these guys, on the metal pins, not only did I crimp them, but I added a little bit of solder just to help strengthen them. They all passed the tug test, which is you just grab the wire on the end, you tug on them a little bit, pull them away from the connector. If they depin, then obviously it's bad. If they don't depin, then in my book, it's good. So we've got all the injectors in there, which is solid. They're all plugged in, ready to go. I need to take this gauge out and move that to a fuel pressure regulator, but I don't have a fuel pressure regulator yet, so I need to get one still. But that's beside the point. So now that we've got kind of the fuel system wrapped up, or at least the injector side of the fuel system wrapped up, we've got our IAT sensor wired in. I think we're solid on wiring up here for now. I still have to wire in all of the gauges. We've got wideband, boost, oil pressure, and water temperature. So I'm still gonna have to do all that. At this point, I think I'm gonna keep going around the engine bay doing some small stuff like power steering lines and whatnot, things of that nature, just to continue to get things cleaned up, because once we get like power steering lines on here, we can get fluid in here, and continue like going along. I think I can go ahead and get this upper radiator hose in at this point, and like put some coolant in this thing also, which will be kind of nice. So let's just keep knocking out some small stuff. I mean, we got to do the small stuff to get to the big stuff. Got a lot more of the little stuff knocked out, you guys. We now have coolant in our radiator. We have our radiator overflow tube going over here to where the canister sits. I have it out right now. We have our intake in. We've got our blow-off valve return line for the manifold done right there. We've got, you know, there's more stuff in here that I did. I don't remember what, but there's more stuff. So I think that's about where I'm going to stop on this one. This thing is like super close to running. So I've taken your guys' suggestions on who to have tune the Evo. So I hit up Tuned by Wali today, talked to him, gave him the rundown on the modifications to the car. So it looks like Tuned by Wali is going to be tuning the car. We're going to be putting it on a dyno. I'm not a big fan of street tuning. For anyone that's been around the channel in the past, I've done street tuning. I've done it on the WRX. I've done it on the STI. I've done it on plenty of cars. I just don't prefer street tuning if I can avoid it. It comes with a big risk of getting a ticket. B, it's not really the safest thing to do, so I try to avoid it when I can. But We go into the dyno. He's gonna email over a base map for us. We'll probably do a little bit of street tuning for the base map to get it a little more dialed in, so that way it can become a break-in map. We'll get some break-in miles on the motor. We'll swap the oil. We'll do all that fun stuff. But so far, I mean, it's coming along. The Evo is coming along a lot faster than I was expecting. That wheel speed sensor, I still can't find it, so I'm going to have to find it or buy a new one here soon. On top of that, there's a couple more things I need to order tonight for the Evo, such as some vacuum lines, some consumables and whatnot. A couple more interior pieces, but dude, this thing is like coming. I'm gonna be honest, if I worked on it all night tonight, I bet you I could get it running before the white Legacy that's over there.
Fuck you.
So that's all I got for you guys in this one. If you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Actually, no, before that, we're starting to get a lot of STI stuff in also. The motor got dropped off at Outfront today, so they're gonna be going through it, fixing everything, and we'll be going from there. Aside from that though, making good progress. I have the Haltech wire harness dropping off tomorrow. I have all my OEM connectors from iWire that got dropped off. My throttle body connector, so I have a whole bunch of connectors getting dropped off for the STI, so that way we can rebuild that harness. So fun stuff, and we got a lot coming up with the WRX here soon. STI 6-speed swap, built motor going in, whole bunch of stuff. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. What do you want?
With that last comment,
what
the next time there's some weird issue on this car, I'm gonna make sure I don't tell you what's wrong. I'm gonna find what's wrong, but I'm not gonna tell you about it.
It's a joke.
I know.
I don't even have everything to get it running.
I stole your wheel speed sensor.
Did you?
No. No.
Give it back.
No, I didn't.
You're gonna find random things missing now until the wheel speed sensor shows up. Do what?
Did I do a good job cutting?
Does it fit? It doesn't look bad. Looks pretty straight. Looks pretty good.
Did Matt do a good job?
What happened here?
I'll be honest, if you guys want to see me do an actual good job on a front bumper, you should watch the Outback one, because if you're watching this one, I'm telling you what, it's not very good.
It don't look bad. You want to slap it on real quick? Or not slap it off.
Clap chop.
You might as well just put the Evo's bumper on there.
Might as well.
It honestly doesn't look bad. It does sit really far in there though. Where's that piece? Put that piece you slapped out on.
Get my plastic welder out and make that permanent.
Honestly, with that guy in there, it actually doesn't look bad at all.
Yeah.
You need a front lip though.
Yeah.
I'm
just gonna get a JDM front bumper, honestly.
I think having
JDM front bumper only sticks out this far.
It'll look way better.
Yeah.
You know, when are you gonna get that?
I'm gonna hit up Ruslan probably tonight.
Alright guys, so that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel yet and you want to be one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.